Oh, day 2. Hope it's a light day, but we seem to be getting out here at 5 o'clock like every day, so probably won't be. Hey guys, it's lunchtime. This day is dragging by. I need it to be over. I'm eating my vegetables. Didn't finish my chicken though. Not that hungry. Alright guys, so I got Chipotle, I got some shredded cheese, and I got some of their chips so I can make nachos, and I got some tacos things. I got 2 chicken, 1 steak. I don't know why I'm telling you my menu, but I love Chipotle. They're really good. Something I'm going to do tonight, watch a movie, because it's early enough. It's a long movie, it's a 2-hour movie, but it's only 6:16, so it's still early enough for me to get in bed and get plenty of rest. But there will be a movie review. What I'm going to watch tonight is Logan. They're just butter knives, but they look cool. They almost look like, they almost look like it. Anyway, I'm going to watch Logan, guys. So, yeah, that's going to be fun, and expect a full comprehensive review. He's gone, guys. Wolverine has been one of my favorite superheroes through movie history, because for one of the things, he's one of the few actors that's been able to stay with his character for so long, and you get to see this like 20-year progression of this character. And that's not something you get to see with a lot of other superheroes, as of yet, at least. I mean, a lot of them haven't even put in a lot of time and already trying to move on from different things. Chris Evans was tired of Captain America, wants to move on. Same thing with Chris Hemsworth, and Robert Downey Jr. got too expensive to use. Hugh Jackman's always been Wolverine, and that has been something that I think so many people love about him. We've seen him from this young person and evolve through character and, physically change mentally and through emotions and the different things that he's gone through. Not to mention the rich history that Wolverine, the character, also has from years and years before. Now, about the movie. That was just explaining why I love Wolverine so much. Wow. Really, really enjoyed it. I have to say, it's gonna be definitely in one of my top favorite X-Men movies of all time now. It didn't even feel like an X-Men movie. This movie brings so much to the table. This movie brings a lot of drama, and it's not fast-paced like you see with all these superhero movies. It's not fast-paced, which I was so glad to see. It doesn't even feel like a Marvel movie. Marvel, I feel like they tried to shove everything they can into that hour and 40 minutes. And this time, they took 2 hours and they took their time telling this nice progressive story. And I'm glad about that. Acting. X-23, I don't know the actress's name. She did a phenomenal job. Great facial expressions when she's not even allowed to talk during most of the scenes. They always say that being, for an actor, the hardest part of stage acting is being on stage with no lines, because you have nothing to say, and so you have to express emotion through body language. And she does this perfect. And then when she, does finally start talking through about, I'd say, 3/4 of the movie, she brings it then, and she brings even more emotion to the table. Hugh Jackman, he did a phenomenal job. It's so hard to see him in this state of old and helpless almost. I mean, you see this with Xavier, and he's leaning on Hugh Jackman, who's just as much old and helpless. I mean, they're both 2 old guys. These guys are done. I mean, you're not going to see them putting up a fight much, in the movie. So it's almost a sad movie when you compare it to everything else you've seen and the movies you've watched with these guys, where they're out there in the action and stuff. And it's not about that anymore. It's about passing off the torch to this X-23 character. And it passes that torch very organically. I hate it when they just shove characters in here and like, this is going to be the replacement. No, this was like an origin story for X-23 almost. I would argue that. Of how this is where X-23 is going to come from. This is where she's going to come out of, you know, and who her mentor was, basically, you know, and however brief it was. The overall movie, cinematically, visually stunning. Camera work was excellent. There's some very interesting uses of special effects through like this shaky cam action that they used, where Xavier has a seizure and all of a sudden anything that's around him basically freezes and starts shaking, like very drastically. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically the camera's shaking very violently, and you know, only, you know, the mutants can kind of go through it, and they have to like struggle to go through. So it's like the slow motion action that's happening, but it's being pictured very, very quickly like this. So visually, those scenes were amazing to me. I really liked how they did that, and either on camera or in post-production. I'm not really quite sure. I know how you could hack it a few different ways, but I'm not sure how they did it. The overall movie, I would say definitely see it if you can. I think you'll fully enjoy it. Definitely a hard R movie. Man, they open it up very quick with language and violence. I mean, this movie does not hide the fact that it's an R movie. And I mean, if they didn't shove it in your face, it's just a very violent movie. And it was kind of cool to see, okay, we finally get to see, you know, Wolverine throw his claws into somebody's face, you know? And that happens a lot. I highly recommend that you go see Logan. I know it's been out for a while. I know I'm really behind. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. You probably already have. Like I said, it's been out for a while and it was super popular. Anyway, that is where I'm going to end tonight's vlog, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. And that's it. That one won't stand up straight. There we go. There we go. Better stop before I break something.